Cuban link. The Cuban link is the heaviest and most structurally dense chain style in common production, and it became the defining jewelry format of hip-hop culture. A medium-width Cuban link at 8 mm and 22 inches in 14-karat gold weighs between 35 and 50 grams, roughly the same as a full set of house keys. The links are round and thick on both sides, unlike the flat curb chain it evolved from, which gives it a wall of gold visible from across a room. Cuban immigrants brought the link style to Miami in the late 20th century, where jewelers scaled the proportions up dramatically to meet demand from the Latin and hip-hop communities. A super-heavy Cuban at 14 mm and the same length can exceed 150 grams. The chain's density is not decorative. In solid 14-karat gold, it resists tarnishing indefinitely, holds pendants without deforming, and retains full resale value because its weight is directly tied to gold spot price. Byzantine. The Byzantine chain is the most mechanically complex link pattern in jewelry production, and it cannot be made quickly. Each link passes through 4 others in a repeating sequence that produces a dense, tubular braid with no visible gaps. The structure originated as a variation of the 4-in-1 weave used in medieval chainmail armor, where the same geometry was used to distribute the impact of blades across 4 connection points simultaneously. In jewelry, that distribution means the chain carries its own weight without stretching or distorting, even at heavier gauges. The pattern is so precise that most manufacturers either produce it entirely by hand or require highly specialized machinery that cannot be repurposed for other styles. Because the surface catches light from multiple angles at once, a Byzantine chain in polished gold appears to shimmer continuously, even when the wearer is standing still. Rope chain. The rope chain mimics the structure of twisted hemp, 2 rows of interlocking links wound in opposite directions around each other to form a continuous spiral. A 4 mm solid, 14-karat rope chain at 22 inches weighs approximately 20 grams. It became one of the most recognizable symbols of hip-hop in the 1980s, worn in multiple layers at widths that made the gold visible as a primary garment element rather than an accessory. Modern production uses a 3-stage industrial process where wire is formed into links at 230 per minute. Links are calibrated and slightly flattened to increase surface shine, and a laser soldering system closes each link internally with no visible solder mark. The structural weakness of the rope chain is susceptibility to kinking. If a section is bent past its design tolerance, the twisted strands deform against each other, and the damage is permanent, without professional repair. Solid construction at 4 mm or wider resists this significantly better than hollow variants. Figaro. The Figaro is a syncopated variation of the curb chain, built on a repeating sequence of 3 small circular links, followed by 1 elongated oval link. That 3-to-1 rhythm was developed by Italian goldsmiths in the 18th century and takes its name from the protagonist of Mozart's opera The Marriage of Figaro, a character defined in the work by cleverness and constant motion. The pattern lies flat against the skin because the links are flattened during production, which also increases the reflective surface area. A diamond-cut finish, applied using a high-speed industrial tool tipped with a real diamond, adds facets that raise the chain's brilliance considerably above a standard polished surface. The Figaro is one of the most widely worn chain styles globally because it functions equally well as a standalone piece and as a pendant chain, and the alternating link pattern provides enough visual rhythm that it reads clearly even at narrow widths below 4 mm. Box chain. The box chain, also known as the Venetian chain, is built from square links where 4 flat plates form a cubic unit. The geometry means each link articulates cleanly against the next, with minimal friction, which makes the box chain one of the least tangle-prone styles available, regardless of length or storage conditions. A historical predecessor, called the book chain, used the same square link structure to secure decorative lockets and small books to a wearer's clothing in the 18th and 19th centuries, where the flat surface of each link provided space for engraving. In modern production, the box chain is the standard choice for minimalist pendant settings, because the flat link faces do not compete visually with whatever hangs from it. The one structural caution is torsion. Because the links are angular rather than curved, a sharp twist, rather than a gradual bend, can deform the cubic geometry at the joint, and that deformation does not reverse. Mariner. The mariner chain, also called the anchor chain, is a direct engineering translation of the heavy iron chains used to hold ships in deep water. Every oval link contains a vertical bar running through its center, a feature that in nautical engineering prevents the link from collapsing under the tension of a ship's anchor line. In jewelry, that bar adds structural integrity that makes the mariner one of the most durable chain styles produced, capable of holding large and heavy pendants without any distortion to the link geometry over years of wear. Sailors adopted the style as personal jewelry in the 19th century, pairing it with anchor motif charms as protective symbols before sea voyages. A wide mariner chain, at 6 mm or above, has enough physical presence to function as a statement piece without a pendant attached. The style went through a major commercial resurgence in the 1980s, when it entered mainstream unisex fashion, and has remained in continuous production since. Wheat chain. The wheat chain, called spiga in Italian, is built from 4 strands of oval links woven together in a forward-facing braid that produces a feathered, textured surface resembling a head of grain. The structure is flexible in all directions and drapes against the neck without any stiffness or directional resistance, which is why it became a standard setting for lightweight pendants in fine jewelry. In ancient Greek and Roman jewelry, the braided pattern carried associations with abundance and the agricultural economy that sustained Mediterranean civilizations, and versions of the weave appear in gold work from that period held in major museum collections. The Franco chain is often grouped with the wheat chain, but operates on a different mechanical principle. The Franco uses tightly interlocked V-shaped links in a squared or rounded profile, specifically engineered to resist kinking under load, making it the preferred structure for heavy masculine pendants, where the wheat chain's softness would be a liability. Partridge eye. The partridge eye chain is a flat curb chain that has been transformed by a finishing process rather than a structural change. A high-speed cutting tool, tipped with a diamond, scores each flattened link with a pattern of facets arranged to create a small, centered shape that reflects light with concentrated intensity, producing an effect that appears to pulse as the chain moves. The style is produced primarily in artisanal workshops in Greece and Sweden, where it is made in 925 sterling silver, using a high degree of manual intervention. Silver has a lower hardness rating than gold on the Vickers scale, which means the facets cut into a silver partridge eye link are more susceptible to microscopic deformation over time from contact with skin and clothing. The visual output of the finish is a shimmer with more texture and movement than a standard polished chain, but without the bulk or weight of a heavy braided style. Snake chain. The snake chain is the most fluid chain style in production and the most structurally fragile. It is built from smooth curved metal plates joined in sequence to form a continuous, flexible tube with no visible link structure. The surface is uniform and reflects light as a single unbroken strip, which makes it the cleanest visual setting for a pendant because nothing in the chain competes with what hangs from it. The mechanical failure mode is permanent kinking. Each plate has a specific angular tolerance, and when the chain is bent past that tolerance, the plates lock against each other in a position they cannot return from. Silver snake chains are more vulnerable than gold because the lower hardness of the metal means the plate geometry deforms under stress rather than springing back. A kinked snake chain cannot be repaired by straightening. The affected section requires replacement.